Evening everybody, it's Phil here from Telford Koi Ponds on a wet, quite miserable Monday evening. I'm just bringing you an unexpected video by way of a warning really. Those of you that have followed my adventure will be aware we had a few mishaps at the start, but realistically once the pond's all been up and running, the filters have been, it's been pretty plain sailing. Wouldn't say that I was getting complacent, but came out last night about 8 o'clock-ish, just doing a final look around the pond and things like that. Lifted the filter cover up, everything looked alright-ish. Thought something not quite right, couldn't put my finger on it. Lifted the cover off the pump chamber and it was about 4 inches lower than it should have been. So as pond keepers know, nothing ever goes wrong at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning when you've got the whole weekend to sort it out. Things always go wrong at night. So just pull the covers off and I'll just let you know what it was basically. So I came in, normally just take the covers off, happy days, water's normally, well, where it is now basically. But when I came in, the water was just exposing the top of these black containers here, so an inch below water at the minute. So I thought, well, something's a bit weird there, very strange. So I took the top off the filter chamber. And normally, where you can just sort of see the water level there, so the top filter compartment, if you like, screen isn't in the water. It was way down here. So as I say, it is a good weight. You can see it now, good 2 inches, 2.5 inches. I mean, whenever there's a problem with the water, you automatically think there's a leak. I don't know why, because it's a bit couldn't have been a leak really, because the pond was absolutely at its maximum level. But I went round anyway, checked all the joints, checked all the valves, checked everything, couldn't find a leak at all. The issue was, if I turned all the pumps off, if I turned the pump off and left everything as it was, although the level in the pond and the filters were lower, about an inch or two lower than it should have been, or is normally, at least it was all level, and at least it was covering the media. But as soon as I turned the pump on, the water in these two chambers just went down and down and down and down. And as I say, when I came, it was just above the black containers there. And then the more I watched it, when I turned the pumps on again, it just kept going down and down and down and down. And before too long, I'll just put that back in there. Before too long, it was well below the this silver holder here. So scratched my head, turned it on, turned it off, looked at various things. I thought, well, are the screens blocked? Am I not paying enough attention to them? Took one of the screens out. I mean, it's as clean on the inside as you can see on the outside, so I couldn't get my head around that. So, you know, logic dictates the only problem could have been if the pump's emptying the water out quicker than it's coming in from the pond, then there's something wrong with the bottom drain. So I had all sorts of horrendous thoughts going through my head, like as the bottom drain collapsed, as something got stuck inside. So natural reaction was do a bottom drain purge. So turn the valve off, the big 4-inch valve on there, so there's no water coming through the bottom drain. Left the pump running to get these two chambers, empty them out back into the pond as much as I could, because the pond was absolutely full. So turn the pump off, turn the valve, return off, so everything was isolated, and then open the purge drain so that everything went through there. So these two chambers basically were dry, absolutely dry. And then obviously open the valve to the bottom drain and all the water comes flying out. So I did that, water came up, everything looked okay. I mean, there was you know, there's a bit of dirt and stuff coming out the bottom drain, and it did come out with some force, but nothing horrendous. So I turned the pump back on again, stood here watching. Water went down and down and down and down and down, and again the only thing it can be is something in the bottom drain. So I did the same again. By this time I'd called my good lady wife, who was telling me not to panic, calm down, so thank you for that. she was out here having a look again, a bit like me, couldn't see, you know, she went round, looked, there was no leaks or anything, so we're going to do a bottom drain purge again. Turned everything off, turned the valve off, sucked all the water out again, so I've got 2 dry chambers. Turned the valve back on, flooded the chambers again, and again put my hand, I took one of the screens off, put my hand down there when the water comes through. It's a real force when it purges the bottom drain. Anyway, turned everything on, and lo and behold, the water level dropped about ½ an inch, which is what he normally does when I turn the pumps on. So I watched and watched and watched, and happy days. So I took the screen out and just have a look in the waste trap underneath, and in the waste trap underneath was a half moon shape, about that big piece of, I don't know whether it was mortar or plaster or something solid. This is what's left of it, and it's in various bits and pieces because out of frustration I threw it against the wall when I found it. But that somehow during the, as I say, it was like that. It was like, you know, half a 4-inch pipe, slight exaggeration, but how it had got in there during the construction stage, I've got no idea, because every time we had a loose pipe, religiously I went round, put a bag over the top, put elastic bands around the top. So I can only think it must have been something at the very, very, very early stages, or when we were having problem with the concrete, or, you know, just after that, I don't know. But anyway, there is no moral to this story, because I panicked and it didn't help, but it all worked out in the end. So again, the reason for putting this video out is just a word of caution. Anybody building a pond, anybody messing about with the open pipes, just be absolutely really careful that nothing drops in the pipes, because if you know that obviously has come through the bottom drain, through the bends, and somewhere at some point it's got stuck, caused my problem. Luckily the purge has freed it up and it's come all the way through, and as I say, out through here in the drum and into the catchment chamber. So you know, I'm considering myself really lucky. But anyway, touching wood, everything's back to normal now, everything's at the right level, overflow's working, trickle in's working fine, fish are great, and we're all back up and running as normal. So there you go, panic over. As I say, it was an unexpected video, but just thought I'd share this with you, because you know there is a word of caution here. Is just you can't afford to let anything drop into your pipes basically when you're in that construction phase. So if it stops it happening to somebody else, you know, happy days. And yeah, just thank you very much for watching. It's only a short video. I'll catch up with you at the weekend, so take care, enjoy the rest of your week. Cheers, bye.